Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tamara. I like to make vlogs and I like to make little sit down chit chats where we talk about life and motherhood and womanhood and our faith and things of that nature. So if any of those topics interest you, please feel free to subscribe and I hope that you stick around. If you are a stay-at-home mom or you've been a stay-at-home mom previously, then you know all too well how stressful it can be, how isolating it can feel at times, and just how overwhelming the weight is of being at home and trying to manage a home and manage children, whether it's multiples or just one, and the ups and downs that come with what age range they're in. There's just a lot. So I kind of wanted to share some things that I've learned throughout the years of being a stay-at-home mom off and on, and what has kind of helped me in this latest season of my life where I'm currently a stay-at-home mom, in hopes that maybe some of these things may resonate with you and you can take what you need and apply some of the things so that you can make stay-at-home life a lot less stressful and a lot more manageable, and be able to enjoy the time at home with your kids a little bit more. One of the things that I had to learn how to do was slow down. I was always rushing to get to the next task, and I created unnecessary and sometimes unrealistic deadlines for myself. With that came constant stress and frustration. I lacked patience. Overall, it just negatively affected everyone around me, including my kids. I had to learn that it's okay to take your time. In most cases, there's honestly no reason to rush at all. And to be honest, because of my health condition and the state that my skin was in at one point in time, I literally had no choice but to slow my behind down. And when I say that was the most humbling times for me, because I was so frustrated with the fact that I couldn't move at the pace that I wanted to go. I ultimately had to ask myself, what am I getting out of this? What am I getting out of trying to rush? Like, what is your purpose? What is the reason? And I didn't have one. I legitimately didn't have one. So I had to just come with the terms that, girl, you just got to slow down. Take your time. It's okay. It's going to be all right. Whatever it is you try to do, it's going to get done. As long as you're consistently moving in the direction of getting it done, it's going to get done. There's no need to rush. And there's no need to make everybody else around you feel anxious because you're rushing to try to get something done that doesn't even need to get done in the time frame that you set for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Another thing I had to learn was put them kids to work. I have 4 kids. So that means on a daily basis, I am outnumbered. Now, because I was always rushing, because I didn't have the patience, I wouldn't want them to do anything. I'd want them to just sit in a corner somewhere and let me clean up. Let me do the laundry. Let me get this stuff done, right? But I was only causing myself to be more irritable because I felt like I had all this work to do and nobody was helping me do it. My husband couldn't help because he's not here, he's at work. And I don't have the patience to be waiting on these kids to do what needs to be done. So I had to create systems which throughout the years have changed depending on what they're capable of doing, such as chore charts or reward systems, just to help hold them accountable for themselves. I think for a while, a part of me kind of felt bad about making them work. But then it was just like, again, it's 4 of them, it's 1 of me. Majority of this mess is theirs anyway. So why can't they do the work to clean up after themselves? It helps foster independence, and it helps turn them into adults who are capable of caring for themselves and being mindful of their space and all those things. it's not a bad thing that your kids clean up after themselves or that they do their own laundry. It doesn't make you any less of a mom. It's their home, it's their mess. Teach them the value of taking care of their space and stewarding what they have early. Oftentimes, even as adults, we kind of get caught up in the feelings of not wanting to do the task that we kind of forget about, how we'll feel afterwards. So I really try to highlight those good feelings that come after, we've done the hard work of cleaning up and maintaining our space in our home. Now, this next one was really, all these things were hard for me, okay? But this next one, I know a lot of moms struggle with. My need for wanting to be in control and have everything in order according to my standards led to consistent burnout. That's part of the reason why I didn't want the kids to help. And probably another reason why I was always rushing, because I had this long laundry list of things that I needed to get done, and I didn't want to delegate. I complained about not having help, but I also didn't want to. I would nitpick at how my husband would do things because it wasn't necessarily how I would do it. And in turn, that led to him not want to do those things at all. As long as he wasn't making more work for me or just doing something that was like actually wrong and didn't make sense, there was no need to nitpick. There was no reason why this specific thing needed to be done exactly the way I wanted to do it. As long as it got done, that was all I needed to worry about. I'm not gonna act like I don't pay attention to how he does things and I still don't like cringe, because I definitely do. It was like one day, a few weeks ago, he was helping me clean up and he was wiping stuff down, and I was just like, I had to like change the subject. I had to find something else to say real quick on my feet, because I was like, let me not criticize how he cleaning up right now, because he's just gonna stop. He's just gonna sit down and let me do it. As long as he's not making more work for me, I just learned to zip it. It also helps if I find something else to do while he's doing something, instead of just like kind of, watching over his shoulder, seeing how he's doing something, or like when he's done with it, going to check after him. Nope. Don't even do it. Same thing with the kids. They don't be doing stuff right half the time, but I just leave it. It got done. Along the way, they'll figure it out. They'll figure out how to do things more efficiently. They'll figure out how to do things in a way that works for them. And again, it doesn't have to be done my way. It doesn't have to be done your way. Okay? Our ways are not the only right ways. Right? Okay. At one point in time, I would try to plan out every single hour block of time in the day. And then at one point in time, I was just like, I'm not planning jack. I'm going to just go with the flow. And neither one of those things was beneficial. Neither one of those things helped me. Plan out your week, but be realistic. It's good to have structure and it's good to have a plan, but I would make plans that just weren't realistic for my actual lifestyle, and I would beat myself up for not sticking to the plan. And I would feel less than and just completely spiral. Like, for example, I would make plans that would involve me waking up at 6 a.m. every morning. Child, if you know me, I'm not a morning person. 6 a.m. that's not me. No matter how many times over the years I've tried, it doesn't work for me. And that's okay. I don't need to be a 6 a.m. morning person in order to maximize my day or be productive or be, I don't need that, right? Or I would plan to be super productive knowing that I'm going to be on day 2 of my cycle. Girl, no. Knowing good and well when that day came, all I'm going to want to do is curl up in a ball on the couch or in my bed and just stuff my face and not be bothered. Why in the world would I force these things upon myself knowing what that day realistically looks like for me? I don't know why I did that, but I did that. So don't do that. Be realistic. I also say plan the week because I used to plan daily the night before, and because I had all these things, like this whole laundry list of things that I needed to get done, I would try to cram every single little thing possible into the day. Every little thing. And so then here comes the rushing, here comes the not being patient, here comes the frustration, here comes the stress, here comes all the things, because I set this unrealistic goal of accomplishing all these things in a day, knowing good and well it was just too much. It was just too much. And then I would feel unaccomplished when I fell short. Even though I could have knocked off 5 things off that to-do list, I would feel unaccomplished because 5 just was nothing in comparison to the 15 things that I put on my list to do that day. Daily planning, if it works for you, that works for you. But if you find yourself frustrated on a day-to-day basis, stop planning your days like that. Okay? Plan by the week. Now I am more intentional about what tasks I schedule throughout the week, and I base them on priority and how much energy they require, both physical and mental. For example, if I know I want to deep clean my kitchen, I'm not going to plan to do that on the same day that I'm planning to meal plan. For me, meal planning is something that requires a lot of mental energy. So I'm not going to put that on the same day that I've planned to do something that also requires a lot of physical energy. Do you get what I'm saying? So I try to be intentional about how I plan my days. And that has honestly helped a lot. Now, with planning and all that, please make sure to give yourself grace. This goes into the next one. I also had to learn how to be flexible, because messing with kids, your whole day could be turned upside down by 7 a.m. They can be pretty unpredictable. You never know what you're going to get. I strive on knowing what comes next. I really struggled with having to rearrange my whole day or part of my day based on something that has happened with the kids. I really struggled with that. I would be like, oh my gosh, but I planned to do this and now I can't get it done because of X, Y, and Z. And again, it kind of goes into setting those unrealistic deadlines for ourselves. Like, because a lot of times the things that I had planned, it was like, girl, it's okay if we push it to another day. It's going to be fine, but in my mind, I made it not fine. I had to learn to kind of go with the flow sometimes. Last but not least, I had to learn to give me some business and take time for myself. It's hard to take time for yourself when you don't have a sense of self, right? So that's what I mean by I had to give me some business. I had to figure out what it is that I liked and find me a hobby or 2 or 3. And in doing so, I realized that the time was always there. I just wasn't utilizing it for myself, So I'm more mindful of that now when I catch myself like doom scrolling or procrastinating on another task. Because oftentimes I've noticed that it's hard for me to start on a task when I haven't been fulfilled in some sense. When I recognize that, because I have hobbies now, I can take the initiative to invest my time in myself and do something that I like to do that makes me feel good. I completely understand that, that's easier said than done, depending on how many kids you have and depending on their ages. At one point in time, because my older 2 are 11 months apart, I had 2 toddlers. at a time. So I definitely know, okay? Because one toddler in and of itself, they know how to stay busy. They know how to keep you busy. Now, if you have two of them jokers, it is easier said than done. But it's so important and it's so necessary. You have to nurture yourself in the same way that you nurture your children. You cannot expect anyone else to do that for you. You can't rely on it. And in doing so, you're just gonna end up being disappointed, or you are not going to be fulfilled in the way that you need to be fulfilled. And that's not to say that having other people pour into you doesn't feel good, such as like your husband and, you know, when he's there for you and whatnot. But I'm saying that you can't depend on that and rely on that, because it just doesn't give you the same sense of fulfillment. It's almost like after you have your baby and, you know, you're looking at your body and you're just like, I don't know whose body this is. And you're kind of, you know, feeling some type of way about your body. And your husband says,
oh, you know, honey, you look great. Like, I think you look good. Like, I love your little chubby little stomach and your chubby little this and your chubby little that.
And you just like, that's great and all, but I don't like it. So it's kind of in that same sense, you know, like, it's nice to hear the compliment. It's nice to know that he, you know, still finds you attractive, right? But ultimately, it still falls into how you feel about yourself. So it's the same thing with investing time into yourself. Now, all of these things that I mentioned here today are things that I've kind of had to learn through experience. I didn't have anybody holding my hand, you know, telling me what it was that I was doing that was potentially making my stay-at-home mom life more stressful. So, you know, I hope that this helps. I really do. If you found this video helpful, hit the thumbs up button down below. Leave a comment. Tell me some things that you've learned since being a stay-at-home mom that has helped you. And maybe it'll help someone else in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. As always, stay blessed.